Listen carefully. Someone is scared to tell you this. Not because it isn't true, but because they know once you hear it, you will never be the same again. They have been watching you. They have seen you cry in rooms where no one else was there. They have seen you smile in front of people while your soul was breaking underneath. And they know something you don't know yet. Time's up. Not in a way that should frighten you, in a way that should wake you up. Hear this clearly. God did not forget you. He was never asleep. He was never distracted. He was preparing you in silence while you thought he was ignoring you. You are not crazy. You are not too much. You are not falling behind. You are being formed. And what is about to happen in your life will make every tear you have ever cried make sense. So sit still for a moment. Breathe. Because what you are about to hear is not for everyone. It is for the ones who have been broken and are still standing. It is for the ones who have been betrayed and did not become bitter. It is for the ones who have been alone in rooms full of people and somehow still believed. This is for the chosen ones. And if that word just touched something inside you, keep watching, because God is saying something, and time's up. There comes a season in every chosen life where everything goes quiet, not because God left, but because God is working somewhere you cannot see. This is the part nobody warns you about. This is the part that makes you question everything, the silence. You prayed, you waited, you believed. And still, nothing seemed to move. Listen carefully. That silence was never empty. It was full. It was full of God rearranging your life behind the scenes. It was full of Him removing people who were never meant to walk with you into your next season. It was full of Him healing wounds you didn't even know were still open. You thought you were being punished. You were actually being protected. Hear this clearly. Some of the people who left your life did not leave because something was wrong with you. They left because they were assigned to a season that was ending. God does not send people to stay forever. He sends them for a moment, for a lesson, for a mirror. And when that moment is over, He lets them go, even if it breaks your heart. That heartbreak was not random. It was surgery. You have been carrying wounds from friendships that turned cold, family that misunderstood you, love that walked away without explanation. And you have asked God over and over, why does it hurt this much? Because deep love always leaves deep marks. But those marks are proof you are capable of something rare, the ability to love fully even when it costs you everything. God is saying, I saw every night you cried alone. I saw every message you almost sent but deleted. I saw every time you smiled in public and broke down in private. I was not far from you. I was closer than your own breath. This is the loneliness of the chosen. It is not a punishment. It is a preparation chamber. Every great calling in Scripture began in isolation. Before elevation, there is always isolation. Before the palace, there is always the pit. Before the throne, there is always the wilderness. You are not being punished by silence. You are being prepared by it. Listen carefully. There is a version of you that only exists on the other side of this pain. A stronger version, a wiser version, a version that cannot be shaken by rejection because you have already survived it. A version that cannot be manipulated by fake love because you have already seen through it. A version that carries authority because you have already walked through fire. That version of you is coming. But first, the old version has to die. This is why so many chosen ones feel like they are falling apart before their breakthrough. You are not falling apart. You are being emptied so you can be filled with something greater. Hear this clearly. The enemy is not afraid of your talent. He is afraid of your transformation. That is why the attacks intensified right before your breakthrough. That is why the sabotage got worse right when you started healing. That is why people started acting strange the moment you started becoming whole. Spiritual warfare is real. And if your life has felt like a battlefield lately, that is not a coincidence. That is confirmation. You are not being attacked because you are weak. You are being attacked because you are dangerous to darkness. The enemy does not waste ammunition on people who are not a threat. God is saying, I allowed the fire because I already saw the gold underneath. I allowed the pressure because I already saw the diamond forming. I allowed the pain because I already saw the purpose. Listen carefully. Some of you have been praying for a miracle, but God is building a testimony. A miracle happens in a moment. A testimony is built over time, through pain, through waiting, through faith when there was no evidence, through worship when there was no reason to sing. Your testimony is worth more than a shortcut. There is a reason you feel different from everyone around you. There is a reason small talk feels exhausting. There is a reason you crave depth instead of noise. There is a reason you feel like an outsider even in rooms full of people who claim to love you. You were never meant to fit into every room. You were meant to carry something that certain rooms cannot hold. Hear this clearly. You are not weird. You are wired for something bigger. That heaviness you feel is not depression, though it may feel like it. Sometimes what feels like sadness is actually the weight of a calling you have not fully stepped into yet. Your spirit knows something your mind has not caught up to yet. God is saying, I did not make you to blend in. I made you to stand out, even when it costs you comfort, even when it costs you friendships, even when it costs you the approval of people who were never assigned to understand you. Not everyone is meant to understand your assignment. Some people are only meant to witness it from a distance, after it's already finished. Listen carefully. Betrayal has a purpose in the life of the chosen. It is one of the most painful tools God uses, but it is also one of the most necessary. Betrayal removes the illusion of loyalty so you can see the truth of loyalty. It shows you who was really there for you and who was only there for what you could offer them. If someone betrayed you recently, I need you to hear this. That betrayal was not the end of your story. It was the closing of a chapter that was keeping you small. God allowed you to see their true colors before you built your future with them in it. Hear this clearly. You are not being abandoned. You are being realigned. Every person who walks away in this season is making room for who is coming next. God does not remove people from your life without a plan to replace the space they held with something aligned to your purpose. Faith during silence is the hardest kind of faith. Anyone can believe when they can see the evidence. But the chosen ones learn to trust God even when the sky is dark, even when the phone doesn't ring, even when the answer doesn't come on time. Listen carefully. Your faith is being tested, not because God doubts you, but because your faith is about to carry weight it has never carried before. God does not build a heavy assignment on a weak foundation. He strengthens the foundation first, in the dark, where no one is watching, where no one applauds you, where it's just you and Him. That is where real faith is built, not in the spotlight, in the secret place. God is saying, I am not punishing you with delay. I am protecting you from a blessing you were not ready to carry yet. Timing is not cruelty. Timing is mercy in disguise. Hear this clearly. There have been signs along your path. Small moments that felt like coincidence but were actually confirmation. A verse that appeared exactly when you needed it. A stranger's words that hit differently than they should have. A dream that felt too real to ignore. A peace that came out of nowhere in the middle of chaos. Those were not coincidences. Those were whispers from heaven, reminding you that you are not walking this path alone. You have been noticing these signs, haven't you? Deep down, you already knew something was shifting. Listen carefully. This is a prophetic warning. Do not go back to the people, places, or patterns that God delivered you from. Do not shrink yourself to make broken relationships comfortable. Do not silence your calling to keep peace with people who were never at peace with your growth. Some of you are standing at a crossroads right now. One road leads back to comfort, familiarity, and the old version of you. The other road leads to transformation, purpose, and the fullness of what God has for you. Choose transformation, even if it's lonely, even if it's uncomfortable, even if no one understands yet. God is saying, I am not finished with you. What looked like the end was only the middle. What felt like failure was only a setup for a greater comeback. What felt like rejection was only redirection towards something better aligned with your destiny. Hear this clearly. Breakthrough does not come before the pain. It comes after it. Every chosen one who ever walked this earth had to endure a season that looked hopeless before their victory appeared. That is the pattern. That is the process. Endurance is not the opposite of favor. Endurance is the price of favor. You are closer to your breakthrough than you think. Some of you are one decision away, one prayer away, one act of obedience away, one release away from stepping into everything God has been preparing for you. This is your season of transformation before elevation. Do not rush it. Do not resist it. Let it do what it's supposed to do. Listen carefully, because this next part matters more than anything you've heard so far. You were chosen before the foundation of the world for this exact moment, this exact struggle, this exact breakthrough. Nothing about your pain was wasted. Nothing about your waiting was wasted. Nothing about your loneliness was wasted. It was all part of the process that is building the person capable of carrying the purpose. Time's up on doubting yourself. Time's up on shrinking your voice. Time's up on staying in relationships that drain you. Time's up on believing the lie that you are not enough. Time's up on hiding your gifts because someone once made you feel too much. You are not too much. You are simply too much for rooms that were never built to hold your purpose. God is saying, rise now. Not tomorrow. Not when it's convenient. Not when everyone understands. Rise now, in the middle of your unfinished healing, in the middle of your uncertainty, in the middle of your questions. Rise, because I am with you, and I have never left. This is not the end of your story. This is the turning point. The second part of this message is about to reveal something even deeper about what God is doing right now in your life, about the signs you've been seeing, about the people He is removing, and about the breakthrough that is closer than you think. Stay with me. Hear this clearly, because what I am about to say will separate the ones who are truly chosen from the ones who are only curious. There is a shifting happening right now in the spiritual realm that is directly connected to your life. You have felt it. You cannot explain it, but you have felt it. A restlessness in your spirit, a sense that something is about to change. A feeling that the season you are in cannot last much longer, that something bigger is on the horizon. That feeling is not your imagination. That feeling is discernment. God is preparing your spirit for what your eyes have not seen yet. Listen carefully. Before every major move of God in a person's life, there is a stirring. Before every breakthrough, there is a restlessness that will not let you settle into mediocrity anymore. If you have been feeling unsettled, dissatisfied, like your current life no longer fits who you are becoming, that is not confusion. That is your spirit outgrowing your circumstances. You are not going crazy. You are graduating. God is saying, The old wineskin cannot hold the new wine. That is why your old life feels uncomfortable now. That is why old friendships feel distant. That is why old habits feel empty. That is why old versions of yourself no longer fit. I am not punishing you by making you outgrow these things. I am preparing you for what is next. Hear this clearly. God removes people, not to hurt you, but to protect the assignment on your life. Some people cannot go where you are going. Not because they are bad people, but because their assignment ends where yours begins to expand. If God has been quietly removing certain people from your circle, do not fight it. Do not chase people who are meant to be left behind in this season. Some relationships are like scaffolding. They help build something, and once the structure is complete, the scaffolding comes down. It is not a tragedy. It is construction. Listen carefully. This is where many chosen ones make their biggest mistake. They try to force relationships to stay the same size while they are growing into something new. And when that happens, the relationship becomes a cage instead of a covering. God will not let you stay caged. That is why He allows discomfort in relationships that have run their course. You are not being cruel by outgrowing people. You are being obedient to your calling. God is saying, I know it hurts to watch people walk away, especially the ones you loved deeply, the ones you thought would be there forever. But I need you to trust me in this. I am not taking without giving. Every space I clear in your life, I am preparing to fill with something aligned to where you're going, not where you've been. Hear this clearly. Your emotional wounds are not disqualifications. They are qualifications. The chosen ones are not the ones who never got hurt. They are the ones who got hurt deeply and still chose to love, still chose to trust God, still chose to keep moving forward. Your scars are not evidence of weakness. They are evidence of survival. Every wound you carry is a doorway to someone else's healing. That heartbreak you went through, that betrayal you survived, that rejection you overcame, none of it was wasted. It was training. It was preparing you to help someone else who will one day walk the same road you walked. That is the beauty of pain when it's surrendered to God. It becomes purpose. Listen carefully. There is a specific kind of loneliness that comes with being chosen. It is different from ordinary loneliness. Ordinary loneliness comes from lack of connection. Chosen loneliness comes from being called to a level that not everyone around you can reach yet. You can be surrounded by people and still feel isolated, not because something is wrong with you, but because your spirit is operating on a frequency that others have not tuned into yet. This is why prayer feels different for you now. This is why worship hits you deeper than it used to. This is why you crave silence more than noise, depth more than distraction, truth more than comfort. God is saying, I did not isolate you to hurt you. I isolated you to sharpen you. Diamonds are not formed in crowds. They are formed under pressure, alone, in the dark, where the process cannot be interrupted. Hear this clearly. This is your sharpening season. And sharpening is uncomfortable, but it is necessary. A dull blade cannot cut through what you are about to face. God is not preparing you for an easy life. He is preparing you for an assignment that requires strength you did not know you had. Listen carefully. Signs from God are all around you, but you have to be spiritually awake to notice them. The number you keep seeing. The song that plays at the exact moment you needed peace. The stranger who said something that felt like it came from heaven itself. The dream that would not leave your mind. These are not coincidences. These are confirmations. God does not always speak in loud voices. Sometimes He whispers through moments so small that only a chosen heart would notice them. You have been noticing them. Don't ignore what you've been seeing. Hear this clearly. because this next part is a warning, and it is meant with love. There is a version of your future where you shrink back, where you settle for less because the waiting got too hard, where you numb yourself instead of healing, where you go back to what's comfortable instead of walking into what's calling you forward. Do not choose that future. God is saying, I did not bring you this far to watch you retreat now. I did not walk with you through the fire to watch you build a home in the ashes. Rise, even if your legs are shaking, even if your faith feels small, even if you don't have all the answers yet. Rise, because the version of you that is coming needs you to survive this moment. Listen carefully. Breakthrough is not going to look like what you expected. It rarely does. Sometimes breakthrough looks like an ending before it looks like a beginning. Sometimes it looks like loss before it looks like gain. Sometimes it looks like silence before it looks like celebration. Do not judge your breakthrough by how it looks in the middle. Judge it by what God has spoken over the end. You are in the middle of your story right now. And the middle always feels the hardest, the most confusing, the most uncertain. But the middle is not the end. God is saying, I see the end from the beginning. I already know how this chapter closes. And it closes in victory, not defeat. It closes in restoration, not ruin. It closes in purpose, not pain. Hear this clearly. Victory after endurance is the pattern of every chosen life. You do not get the crown without the cross. You do not get the promotion without the process. You do not get the promise without the patience. This is not a punishment. This is the design. Listen carefully. If you are still watching this, if these words have touched something deep inside you, that is not an accident. You were meant to hear this today. Something in you already knew you were different. Something in you already sensed there was more. Something in you has been waiting for permission to believe again. This is your permission. God is saying, I chose you before you ever chose me. I saw your pain before you cried your first tear over it. I saw your breakthrough before you ever believed it was possible. And I am telling you now through this message that your time has come. Time's up on doubting your calling. Time's up on believing the lie that you are alone. Time's up on staying silent about what you carry. Time's up on shrinking to make others comfortable. Time's up on waiting for permission from people who were never assigned to understand your assignment. Rise now. Walk in what you were created for. Trust the process, even the parts that hurt. Trust the timing, even when it feels late. Trust the silence, even when it feels heavy. Because on the other side of all of it, there is a version of your life so beautiful, so full of purpose, so undeniably ordained by God that every tear you cried will finally make sense. You are chosen. You are not forgotten. You are not too late. You are not too broken. You are being made ready right now, in this very moment, for everything God has planned for you. Someone was afraid to tell you this truth. But now you know. And now, there is no turning back. If this message touched your spirit, if you felt like God was speaking directly to you through these words, comment the word chosen right now, so heaven knows you received this word. Strengthen your faith today, not tomorrow. Trust God's timing, even when it doesn't make sense. And subscribe so you never miss the next message God has for you. Your breakthrough is closer than you think. Hold on, your time has come.